Your host, J.R. Flores. You're listening to Kern Radio. Check us out online at kernradio.com. Also, now streaming on YouTube live. That's right. Just go to YouTube, search up Kern Radio, and you can watch us live, do the show right there on YouTube. We're also on social media. Just search up Kern Radio on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I am also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR. We got a great show for you lined up today. We are watching the courtroom as the microphones are set outside. We are waiting to see if P. Diddy is going to walk out of court today. By golly, if you weren't paying attention this morning, he was acquitted of 3 out of the 5 charges. One of the most probably bigger charges was racketeering, which he was found not guilty of. The 2 charges he was found guilty of were basically prostitution charges. It's the most expensive prostitution case ever in America, basically. And so he has spent the last 10 months in jail, one of the toughest jails, they say, in all of New York. His lawyers argued after this morning's, well, it went down, and I guess P. Diddy even before court, P. Diddy was praying. After the verdicts were read, P. Diddy fell to his knees and was praying. Look, you guys know me. I'm all about finding God, and hopefully at the lowest moments of your life, he truly has found God. I could only hope and pray, but I won't judge the man because only God knows his heart. But there was just, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so now his lawyers are arguing that since he is not guilty of racketeering, the no bail holding should go away. He has, the judge has told both sides they had until 2 o'clock our time, 5 p.m. New York time, to put together their arguments for bail. And basically, the federal prosecutors are going to have to put up a pretty good argument. And the only one I would assume that they could mount is that he is a flight risk. With all of the money and resources and those turns, they're turning. Chris, is that? Nope. And nope. It's a white guy. Sorry. Some white guy got out of jail, I guess. You got the internet stream too. All right. Just watch. We're just watching the front doors because the bail hearing was set again for 2 o'clock. And unless the federal prosecutors can say, yeah, he's a flight. And why would he run? Because the 2 charges that he was prosecuted on, the prostitution charges essentially, only can, and the maximum sentence that they could get him is 10 years on each count, 20 years. Now, Diddy, for all intents and purposes, doesn't have a criminal record. He's never been convicted of this before. No priors. And typically somebody in his position would most likely be, from what I'm reading, and I'm no criminal expert, I've tried to get a couple of lawyers on. The best one I know is out of town, Mr. David Torres. But 15 to 20 months, and why would he risk running at this point? He's already done 10 months. He's if he gets convicted to 15, he's got 5 months left on his sentence. He gets kicked in 3. Yeah, he's big flight risk. My boy's going to be walking. Bad boy. That bad boy is going to be, pun intended, that bad boy is going to be walking out of court here in about 10 minutes or so. And if he does, And if he goes to that podium, we are going to take that live. You better believe. But he's a bad dude. There's no question about it. Sean Combs is not a good guy. He's not. But that didn't make him guilty of racketeering, which is probably one of the toughest cases to prosecute in all of America. Like, it really is. Why do you think John Gaudio was got off? Because it's hard to prove. And I think the federal prosecutors saw a big fish and got a little bit ahead of themselves. And so I think Puffy will be out in a couple minutes here. He'll come to the podium talking about how he came to Jesus, and he'll go back for sentencing in a couple of months, maybe do 2 or 3, get kicked with some probation. Now, his public life is ruined. He's not going to be the same guy that he was, and he's got, I don't know, a dozen. One of the lawyers, and we'll talk to a civil lawyer, an attorney with Chain Cone Styles, Clark. Sorry, Chris, I know that's your people's. I'm old. I think my grandpa acquired them when they were Chain Cone Styles at one point when he was in an accident. But yes, Chain Cone Clark, Tanya Al-Sheikh will join us to talk about some of the potential civil cases that he has pending. I guess she said she found around 80. You're looking at a man that's worth, what, $400 million, they claim? Yeah, a lot of people are going to be coming out of the woodworks claiming they were victims of Puffy. And we'll ask her how hard some of those cases will be to prove, considering now the outcome. And I know it's a different, what's a different, well, no, it's a different level of having to prove your case in a civil matter than a burden of proof in a civil case is much easier than it is in a criminal case. But we will talk with attorney from Chain Cone Clark, Tanya Al-Sheikh, at 2:30, and she'll go over that because although the criminal case is done, the civil matters are far from over. And we keep watching. Is that a car leaving? I thought I saw. Is he going to go out the back? No pun intended. Is he going to go out the back door? Puffy's a bad guy. He's not morally a good person. And yes, he did some criminal activity. Did it? The way they tried to pass it off as racketeering, I don't believe he started off as a criminal and was running this criminal enterprise in disguise of Bad Boy Records. I think he was a guy that wasn't very talented himself, but could find talent in other people and exploit that, i.e. Notorious Big, Mace. And as he acquired his wealth, he was able to explore a lot of the fantasies that he might have had. And so when you have a lot of money, you can do a lot of things. Did that amount to a criminal enterprise? I mean, when you have a lot of people around you, you can pay them a lot of money to do some things for you. Again, it's hard to prove that. If you've watched The Godfather, we call those buffers. There's a lot of buffers between the boss and the stuff that goes down. I don't think Puffy had a lot of buffers. He had like one person. Hey, can you get me some guys? We're in town tonight. So I don't think that it's hard to prove the racketeering. We keep on watching the front doors to see if Mr. Sean P. Diddy, Puffy, what's his name now? What does he go by? Combs? I don't know. He's like Snoop. It changes all the time. Snoop, Snoop Dogg, I don't Snoop Doggy Dog. Speaking of John Gotti, 50 Cent, if you're familiar with the rap world, 50 Cent said, "Hey, congratulations, you're the gay John Gotti now." We got to get to a break. If you guys want to chime in on the Diddy case, 661-842-5376, 661-842-KER. And that's not all we'll talk about. There's other stuff going on. The House is hearing the Senate version of the bill, the big, beautiful bill. We'll discuss that a little bit. Mom of the Year was in court yesterday. Tell you more of what we have found out about the case, where a 1-year-old passed away over the weekend, left in a vehicle while his mom decided to go get some medical spa treatments. Plus, some new fair acts have been announced. We'll tell you who's been added to the lineup for the great Kern County Fair. And the state is moving closer to paying incarcerated people to fight fires. I'll give you my thoughts. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back. No, notorious. Oh, Diddy. Can we still play Diddy's music, or is that like R. Kelly now? We can't play it anymore. Are we still allowed to play R. Kelly's music? Yeah. No, still people. What's the other one? What's the dance one? He does another one. In the next step, in the name of love. Step in the name of love. Yeah. People love that one. Can you still play R. Kelly? Can you still play Diddy now? I was gonna say one is only really a Diddy song, and that's the take on the Police song, "I'll Be Missing You" when Biggie died. Other than that, what P. Diddy song is there? He's always just on, whether it was Biggie's or Mace's song, right?
Yeah, he had that one song, "I'm Coming Home."
Nope, I've never heard of it. Never heard of it.
It got big for a second, but outside of that, I made this point on every show I've been on. That there's not a lot of
Diddy songs. He was featured on a lot.
Ralph wanted me to play nothing but Diddy songs.
there's
like 3.
You can play "Mo Money Mo Problems" for me if you want to, and you can find a Mace song. I miss Mace. Find me a Mace song. Welcome back. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. It's kernradio.com, and we're streaming on YouTube. That's right. Go to YouTube and follow Kern Radio. Just search Kern Radio. You don't have to put the space in. Just search Kern Radio. It'll pop up. Follow us. Hit the bell. You'll get notified when we go live every day at 2 right here for the JR Show, and then followed by the Ralph Bailey Show at 3 p.m. You can just stay on one channel and just watch the whole shooting match all right there. So follow us on YouTube if you don't mind. Plus, we're also on social media. Just search again, Kern Radio, Facebook, Instagram, X. I am also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR. We are waiting to see if Mr. Diddy, Mr. Combs, Mr. Sean, Mr. Puffy is going to walk out of court, as all cameras are fixed on the doors to see if he is going to come out, as we wait the conclusion of a bail hearing that was set for 2 o'clock. I would assume. What do you think, Chris? What's the money? Does he come out and speak? If they release him on bail, does he go to or does it just his lawyers go to the microphone?
He goes to the microphone. Everyone wants to hear from him. I think I think you're right. I think he comes out and claims his newfound life and love of God, how God saved him when he prayed to him.
Kobe did the same thing. I hate to bring up in comparison, but remember when Kobe, after the Denver thing, Kobe put the big old cross on his arm, and it was like, oh, okay. Hey, I am not one to judge. Trust me. In some of my lowest times, I also turn to God and try to be disciplined and stay there. One person that won't be walking out of jail today is the mother of a 1-year-old Emilio Gutierrez, who passed away on Sunday after Mom of the Year decided she was going to leave him in a hot car with his 2-year-old brother while she went inside of a medical spa. She pled not guilty, or they were at least entered on her behalf, to involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of child cruelty. Miss Maya Hernandez said she could not afford an attorney, so one would be appointed to her, although she was traveling from Visalia to Bakersfield to get medical spa treatment. Now, I don't know, because I don't ever get medical spa treatment. And ladies, I love you. I don't even know exactly what medical spa treatment is, what it entails, how long one might be inside of a medical spa. Are you injecting your lips? Are you taking some from here and putting it over there? What exactly is a medical spa? How long does it take? And how much is it? Do you know, Chris? Because you're looking at me like you've been inside of a medical spa before. Oh, we all know somebody, Chris. They might not admit it, my brother. Exactly, because there's not enough medical spas in Visalia. They got to come to Bakersfield, apparently. because there's plenty here. There's one over here in our little parking lot that I. Yes, and I'm just saying the one right over here is shady. More slate. It's more shady than Eminem himself. There ain't nothing more Slim Shady than Shady. They're doing some funky stuff in there. Some of those women walk out of there, I'm like, woo, girl, you did not go in looking like that. So my girl could afford to go inside, travel from Visalia to Bakersfield and have these medical spa treatments at 20 years old. 20 years old. What are you doing at 20 years old? You don't need Botox. You don't need shots in your lips. You don't need your butt done. Stop. Take care of your kids. How about that? How about be a mom? No, it's a medical spa. And if you're watching on YouTube, you saw the air quotes, medical. And if you're also watching on YouTube, you'll notice I'm in pink today because on Wednesdays, we wear pink. I've never watched the movie, Chris, so don't even Oh, Diddy denied bail after partial acquittal, right there on the screen behind you. Sorry, Chris. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that was some breaking news. Diddy will not be walking out of jail today. It looks like, and I'll give you, after we go to break here, I'll look into it, why maybe if the judge said maybe the prosecution proved their case of a flight risk. But again, if you're facing 15 months, even 20 years, the maximum, he's not going to get the maximum. Why would he try to run? So I don't know what the prosecution told the judge that made her say Diddy is not walking out of court today. If his attorneys come out and they take to the podium, though, we will definitely take that live. But stay locked right here. Coming up next, we will talk with, because the Diddy case, although the criminal side is done, he's facing a mountain of civil cases. We'll talk with an attorney from Chain Cone Clark, Tanya Al-Sheikh, talk about what he could face as people go after that $400 million bank account. How much the criminal case can affect those civil cases. Plus your text messages and phone calls, 661-842-5376, 661-842-KERN. It's the JR Show. You can also email me, jr@kernradio.com. We'll be right back. Now streaming on YouTube Live. You can just go follow us at Kern Radio. Just search Kern Radio right there in the YouTube search, and you'll see the channel. Me, Ralph Bailey, going live on the YouTubes. You can also follow us on a social media. Just search up Kern Radio. I am also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR. We have been discussing the P. Diddy case, as he has this morning been acquitted of 3 of the 5 charges. Only found guilty of 2 of the lesser charges. The bail hearing had just got finished up here, as it was slated to start at 2 o'clock. I thought he was going to walk out of jail, but apparently the judge has denied bail, and we will wait to see if his attorneys walk out. In the meantime, we have an attorney on the line from Kern County to discuss what's next now that the criminal cases are over. A mountain of civil cases are up against Mr. Diddy and his $450 million bank account. And to discuss that is Tanya Al-Sheikh with Kern County. Did I get your last name right, Tanya?
You did. I know it's not easy, so I appreciate that.
All right. How are you this afternoon?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you. Talk to me. What does Diddy face now, and how does the criminal case affect some of those civil cases?
So I think the most important thing to start with is an understanding of what's the difference between a criminal lawsuit and a civil lawsuit.
Right.
In a criminal case, the government brings charges, and there's a really high standard to prove that case on the prosecutor's side. We all know the phrase, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
That's a very high standard. When you're looking at a civil case, it's completely different. The plaintiff is suing usually for monetary damages. There are other types of damages they could seek, but our burden of proof is much lower. It's called the preponderance of the evidence, and all that means is that it's more likely than not. So 51% chance that it's true.
Oh, there's like a 89% chance most of what he was doing is true. I mean, the guy he's not a good guy. Let's just face it. And look, I looked, and when we were just chatting over text, I was like, yeah, I found about a dozen or so. And you said you found what, almost 80 civil cases?
80 that have been filed. Some were settled, some were dismissed. My most recent finding was there are currently only 66 active lawsuits.
Only.
I mean, considering the stories we're hearing, 66 seems pretty low to me.
Yes, I would. Yeah, because you would have to imagine anybody that might have come encounter at one of these parties that he was throwing, you know what I mean, that might have got involved in some of the acts that were happening. There's cases where one guy was like, yeah, I was auditioning for a video and he grabbed my butt.
I think it goes a lot beyond that. In other cases that I've been reading about, it's real sad.
Yeah, what are some of the ones that you have seen?
Oh, the fourth sexual encounter is because they're just trying to get into the recording studio with him. It's been pretty egregious. Look, just search his name, search civil lawsuit, you'll find it. Well,
that was, you mentioned that, and that was one of the cases that I had come across. The partial owner of the record label that he owns is actually filed a civil lawsuit against him, claiming he made him watch when he would make some of these people that wanted to get into the recording industry perform some sex acts on him, that the owner of the label would have to watch, that he would, he came in one time and tried to force him to sell his ownership of the label.
I have not come across that one, but I'm not surprised that all this happened. Look, I think the main thing to understand in all of this is that there is a lot that can still be done to hold Diddy accountable. A criminal charge, just the fact that he's acquitted from the criminal charge, does not do anything to prevent anyone from pursuing him civilly. The most famous example of this that I think everybody knows is O.J. Simpson. He was acquitted from the criminal charges, but then he had to pay damages because he was found, because the jury thought they were able to prove beyond a preponderance of the evidence that he actually did commit this crime. It's just they couldn't prove it on a criminal level.
Which is probably, yeah, you're right, the most prominent, like the most known. That is wild. Okay, they found him not guilty because at least here you can go into court and say, hey, he was found guilty on these 2 counts.
Yeah,
You-
exactly.
And how much weight does that hold in a civil court?
You know what? It's so hard to predict what a jury is going to do. This case has so much media presence, and I think you said it earlier on in this conversation. It's so obvious that he's not a good guy. So I think it's not going to be that difficult to get a jury behind any victim telling the story of what happened to them to hold him accountable. Obviously, the attorneys are still going to have to do the work to prove it beyond a preponderance of the evidence, that it's more likely than not these things happen. But based on what I've been reading, I can't imagine it's going to be that difficult of a job for them.
Yeah, and that's not to say that some people aren't going to come out of the woodworks to go, oh wait, I might have a case against Diddy, and file some frivolous suit because they walked by him and something, you know what I mean, and try to get $1 million out of him.
Yeah, you can't really predict that. I mean, I don't like to say that happens,
but
obviously.
But it happens. Especially, you got to imagine, even as high profile cases as this, and there are, and that's not saying there are plenty of victims here.
There are plenty of victims, and you know what is what's more unique about this whole situation? Unfortunately, a lot of the time when people are victims of sexual assaults or sexual battery, the people that are committing these crimes in the civil context, they don't have any money to pay any of these damages. Thankfully, the people who are going to be bringing these cases forward they all know that he has money to pay some amount of damages.
Yeah, he not only has money, he now gets to keep it because they weren't able to prove the racketeering cause, and now they can't seize all of his assets. So they know he's still holding on to that large chest.
Well, the racketeering charge was a little bit interesting to me because usually it requires a showing that there's a criminal enterprise that occurred, right? And they didn't have any co-conspirators that they brought forth in these charges. I don't really know the reasoning behind that, but that was super interesting to me.
Yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it just seemed like they felt they had a big fish on the line and they had to do something with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
When it wasn't hard to prove. Look, he is not a good person. He's morally wrong, and he acquired a lot of wealth and some power. With that came a lot of power, especially being able to say, hey, I can get you in the music business. I can open these doors for you. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what the 2 victims who testified in the case were talking about, that they had to participate in these, quote, freak-offs because that was the only way that he would continue to support them in their desire and their wish and their dreams of getting into the music industry.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't think it started off as like, oh, we have this criminal enterprise and we're going to disguise it as Bad Boy Records. You know what I mean? I think he just acquired this wealth and had this side of him that, for whatever reason, liked these things and had the money and the means to obtain them. And when you have wealth like that, you can do about anything,
Well, you can do it, but thankfully some people decide to come forth and you don't always get away with it.
Yeah. And like I said, it's unfortunate that it might, I don't know if it affects other people that might want to come forward and think that, oh, well, they're just going to get off. You know what I mean? Nothing's going to happen to them.
I totally hear you out on that, but you know what? I heard you talking about the denial of bail while Diddy awaits first sentencing.
Right.
And I think that something to remember is that the victims are fearful that they testified in court against him, and how could he retaliate against them for doing that? And I think that's always a concern that you have from victims. What sort of retaliation can this person bring forth?
Oh yeah, because he's proved that he would retaliate. I mean, we all saw the video in the hallway of him abusing Cassie Ventura. I mean, we heard the story of him, burning Kid Cudi's car. There's plenty of reasons to be scared of this guy, and maybe that is what the prosecution was able to go in and say is, look, he might not take off because he's only facing 15 months, but between here and sentencing, he could pull some strings for this to happen and make a lot of maybe these civil cases go away.
Yeah, probably that actually would be a major factor. I think that would come into play. Now, I don't know. You said 15 months right there. You know, it's up to 10 years.
It is. It is. Yeah, no, I've heard the maximum is 10 years, but I mean, he what is the judge going to say? Anybody else in that position that probably had those charges with no priors and no real criminal history, are they going to throw 10 years at them? Or are we going, oh, it's Diddy, let's make an example out of him and throw 10 years at him?
I think if my research serves me correct here, it's actually the federal guidelines suggest that it's supposed to be about 4 to 5 years that the judges recommended to do.
Well, that's why you're the attorney, and that's why people should call Shane Cohn Clark and not me. I'm just saying.
Well, I appreciate that. That's how I feel too.
I mean, they can call in and talk to all they want on the show, but if they want great law advice, they should probably call you.
That's exactly how I feel.
Well, thanks for taking the time out today, Tanya Al-Sheikh. I really appreciate it. Again, it's just a crazy case, and it's just, we can only wait to see how much money people are going to get out of him.
Yep, I'm looking forward to watching how things unfold, especially from the civil perspective on my end.
Yeah, and as that breaks down and some of those go into court, we'll have you back on to talk about it.
Can't wait.
All right, thank you so much. Again, Tanya Al-Sheikh with Shane Cohn Clark. Call over there. They're good peoples. They sponsor Scott's Show in the Morning. They helped out our producer. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that, Chris? Am I allowed to mention that? No? Okay. Good people over there at Shane Cohn Clark, though. Talked to Matt Clark plenty of times. Be right back. Waiting to see if Diddy's attorneys come out. Haven't got to see him come to the podium, but everybody is around with cameras. If they do, we'll take them live. If not, there's plenty to talk about locally. Highest paid county employees have now come out. Following last week's report of the highest paid city employees, we'll tell you who they are, give you my thoughts. And your text messages and phone calls, 661-842-5376, 661-842-KER. And that is the number for the JR Show right here on Kern Radio. We'll be right back. Keep running away. News. You make me feel so good. You know, you make me feel so good. Bad, 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 bad boy. Oh, that's right. Oh, no, you can hear the song. What was it? Ralph was doing it the other day, and you couldn't hear the song. All you could hear was him singing on YouTube, anyways.
Yeah, yesterday we tried to do that, but they couldn't hear me, so the listeners were like, we can't hear him. So.
Yeah, we should be able to hear you now, though. I got it wired up. So
I guess I could do it the way that we do it on
the early bird special. Yeah, it's all right. We've got it. If you don't know what we're talking about, we're streaming on YouTube. That's right. You can go watch us live on YouTube every single day right here on the JR Show. Plus, the Ralph Bailey Show follows at 3 p.m. right there on YouTube Live. You can always listen right here on your transitional radio and kernradio.com, the Kern Radio app. We're making it so easy that you can't have an excuse not to listen. How about that? 661-842-5376. 661-842-KERN. Text, call anytime. Do we have anything on the board, sir?
We do.
What do we got?
What do you expect when we have a guilty president now?
Oh, here we go.
Because Diddy Holmes is what he is an animal, guilty and nothing. I can't believe it. I was going to find a way to tie it back.
That's what I was going to say, man. Yes, P. Diddy getting off is Trump's fault.
First, he was going to pardon him, and now it's his fault he got off.
Man. Just stop, please. Goodness gracious. Turn off the TV. Turn on a little bit of music. Go outside. Talk to people. Hang out. The world is okay, I promise. 661-842-5376. What else?
JR, the medical spa she went to is an eyebrow salon.
Is it? I have to look. I don't know. The address, they put the address, didn't they? On Real Road, I believe. But you don't go inside of an eyebrow place for 2 hours. Right? And you don't call, like my girls that do brows don't call themselves a medical spa. You know what I mean? If you put medical in front of the spa, that means you're doing some sort of procedure. So maybe it is an eyebrow place where you get your eyebrows tattooed on or something. I know the girls like to do that. Or what's the new one? The redding thing or whatever that they do. That women will do a lot of things to make themselves beautiful. And ladies, let me just tell you this right now. You're all very beautiful just the way God made you. Stop.
I appreciate the effort either way.
Don't listen to Chris. Don't listen to Chris. Quit with the Botox. Quit with the take it out of here and put it over there. Quit with the eyebrows. Quit with the just I want to wake up next to the same woman I went to bed with. That's all. You're beautiful. 661-842-5376. Eyebrow place, whatever. She left her kid in the car for 3 hours. What else do you have?
KTLA covered the baby in the car death, and of course they made crude remarks about Bakersfield.
Crazy thing is she's not even from Bakersfield. And her bail was set at over $1 million. Because she's not from here. She has no ties to Bakersfield. The only reason for her being in Bakersfield was to go to the medical spa. So don't tell me you drove. How far is it from Visalia? An hour?
Hour
tops. Well, I drive fast, so an hour. But yeah, maybe for y'all, an hour and 20 minutes. Don't tell me you drive for an hour and 20 minutes with 2 kids in the back seat, get to the medical spa and forget. Would you just have the music turned up the whole way? You didn't even hear him crying on the way? too worried about your medical spa appointment and looking good for. I was going to say some stuff, but I probably shouldn't, so I'll just stop. But looking for that third baby daddy is what was going on. 661-842-5376. Anything else on the board there, sir?
Yeah, I got a couple.
What else?
Anyone who turned on him throughout this trial would be in danger if Diddy were let out on bail. He gets back at people.
I mean, yeah, we discussed with our attorney, Tanya Al-Sheikh with Chain Cone Clark. It's documented. They can't prove that he burned Kid Cudi's car, but they can prove that he burned Kid Cudi's car. I bet you Kid Cudi know. I bet you Diddy let Kid Cudi know that he burned his car. You don't send messages like that without letting people know who sent the message. So yeah. He's definitely a retaliatory guy. He's definitely wants to strike back. And maybe we'll find out here why he was denied bail. But Diddy will remain in custody until sentencing. We'll find out if there was a sentencing date that the lawyer has set forth. Again, I thought 15 to 20 months. Our attorney said she looked it up. Federal cases say, 5. The judge should do 5. So we will see what we will see. Anything else on the board there, sir?
Yes, got a couple more.
What else?
Talk about a bad reminder every time you look at yourself in the mirror. It reminds you of your baby.
Oh, you're talking about the girl?
Yeah.
The mom? Not only that, I saw pictures, and I don't know if they're accurate or not, but she had 2, you know how people will get tattoos of their kids' footprints?
Yeah.
I thought I saw a picture, several, not just one, but other pictures that were posted of her where she had 2 footprints, and I don't know if it was one from each child or just one set from a child, but she had 2 footprints, kids' footprints tattooed on her chest. And she was crying in court, of course. You don't deserve to be a mom. Your kids were more of an accessory than they were your children. And unfortunately, a 1-year-old had to die because of that. Got to get out of here. Got to make room for the Ralph Bailey show. You better believe he's going to be talking about the Diddy case. And if the lawyers step out and go to the podium, I am almost certain he will take it live. Does he have anybody coming on to discuss it, Chris? Do you know?
This is a good question. No, we have, H.A. Sala, actually.
H.A. Sala, one of the other most prominent defense attorneys in all of Bakersfield, Kern County, in California. That'll be a great conversation. Stay tuned for that. This is the JR Show. It's Kern Radio and streaming live on YouTube. I got to get out of here. Lily, Dad loves you.
This is AM 1180 KERN.